my name is Peter. Welcome back to the channel where we talk property, investing, personal finance, and much more. In this episode, we're going to talk about different property investing strategies. Yes, there we go. So there are few main ones. There are like loads of different ways that you can make money in property. There are tons of different strategies, but there are four main ones that you could basically find a lot more information about and are available to the normal person, like the normal me, you, the people that you meet on the street. So I'm gonna start with I would say the simplest one, maybe the most popular one as well, and that's so-called buy-to-lets, okay, or family lets. Now that's what that is, a buy-to-let. Pretty much everyone knows about it. That's a normal 2, 3, 4 bed house normally, okay, which is just rented to a family. Normally looking for a family. We want someone that stay there for a long time. We don't want someone to come stay there for 6 months, 8 months, and then move on, because then we need to look for a new person. So buy-to-lets, solid, a lot less work than any of the other strategies. They're cash flowing on a monthly basis, which is great. They're not the greatest when it comes to cash flow because you just have a family that pays rent. You definitely want to be cash flow positive. So when we are analyzing a deal, that's one of the first things we look in. Is that going to be cash flow positive? And if it's not, then it's just a no. Like we're not looking into anything that is not cash flow positive. Buy-to-lets, generally we're looking for 3-bed house. Reason being, it's a lot less transit years of people that would just stay for a year, 6 months. We don't want them. We want people to stay for long term. We want to create a nice home where people want to stay for long term, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Like the longer they stay, the better, because every time you need to change your tenants, that you need to normally do some refurb, you need to find them, to vet them. It's just a lot of extra work. The less you do, the better, because it is a low cash flow strategy compared to the ones we're gonna move on now. Now the second one is SA, or also known as service accommodation. Now, when we say service accommodation, most people think of people going on holidays, whereas in reality, that's actually only one of the type of customers you get, people going on holidays. There are 11 more types. So you may be thinking like, what are you on about? So I'm just gonna briefly go over some of them, okay? Probably the most important one is just contractors, okay? So let's say there is a road work nearby, and the people doing the road works are from a company that is from 100 miles away. These people are not gonna drive 100 miles every evening to get back to their houses. They're gonna stay there for Monday till Friday and then gonna go back home for the weekend. These people need to stay somewhere. They can stay obviously in a hotel. Hotel is £100 a night per person, 6 people at £600. So what we're looking and what we're doing is we get a 3-bed house as a normal buy-to-let house, and we turn it into a service accommodation that can sleep 6 people. And let's say that's rented for £150 a night. So all of a sudden, the company saves a lot of money. The people, these workers, they got their own place to stay for a house. They got a kitchen, they got their bathrooms. It's just a lot more homely. They could chill together in the evening. It's just a lot better for them. Obviously on our side, we're doing a lot more of a cash flow, because if you do the math, £150 a night, it's like 10 nights, it's 1,500, that's 4,500, I believe is my maths right. So obviously you're not gonna have people every night, but on average, SA, you could do 2-3 times what you would do from a buy-to-let, just cash flow perspective. If you own that property as well, you also get your capital appreciation. You could refinance. If you remember the video we did about the property levers, if you don't remember, go watch it. But yeah, that in the nutshell, that's SA, service accommodation. Very important thing for service accommodation, what we personally do, it's when we analyze deal, we always make sure that property, if we're buying it, could work also as a buy-to-let. So if anything is to happen, so let's say there is a legislation come or more regulations, or service accommodation is no longer profitable, if the market gets saturated, whatever, or it just doesn't work in that area for whatever reason, we've done our calculations wrong, we could always flip it to a normal buy-to-let property, just let it to a family and do the normal business as from the previous point. So these are the first two. So we said buy-to-let and service accommodation. The third one, quite popular in big cities, not always, not only big cities, finally also in the smaller towns, it's so-called HMOs, or house of multiple occupancies. That's quite popular in student areas. Most student houses are HMOs. I've lived in one, you might have lived in one. Some are great, some not that much. In general, they do have a better cash flow compared to a normal buy-to-let, because you're renting per room rather than the whole place to one family. So you can charge per room. So let's say if one 3-bed house, it's £900 a month, yeah. If that's an HMO and it has 3 rooms, you normally will have a bigger HMOs, actually 4, 5, 6, even 7 bedrooms. That's big HMOs. You can charge £500 a room. So 3 rooms, even if it's a small HMO, 3 rooms, that's 1,500. You need to factor that when it's an HMO, you're actually the one covering the bills, which it does bring the cash flow down. And also you need to deal with, if you have 3 rooms, that's 3 separate tenants. If you want to look at it, it's like 3 separate families almost. So it is definitely a lot more work, but it is better cash flow than a normal buy-to-let. For us in Brindley Investing personally, we don't really do HMOs, to be honest. Nothing against them, it's not our cup of tea. So we don't deal with it. We prefer to do things we know how to work and we feel comfortable. Can't be great at everything. And the fourth one, it's so-called rent-to-rent. Now that's a tricky one. It's very popular with some educators and it's very hyped out, mainly for let's call it newbies. The reason being, it's a low entry. What is actually rent-to-rent? That's when you go, let's say I go to a normal property owner, a landlord, who is renting their 3-bed house, and let's say they're asking for £900 a month. I pay the £900 a month and we sign a cooperative agreement. So they let me to let their property out, and then I could use that property, the 3-bed house, they've let me for £900, and I could let it out either as HMO for the 3 rooms, which will be 1,500, and I take the difference. Obviously you need to factor in your costs and so on, so it's not as simple as that. Or I could turn it to a service accommodation and charge a nightly rate, and again I pay the rent, £9,900 to the owner of the house, and I cover the bills. Whatever is left is for me. I don't own the property, which also means I don't get any capital appreciation. I can't refinance. But on the other side, all I need in terms of money to start is I need money for rent, deposit and furniture. So it's a lot lower entry, which makes it basically attractive to people that are just starting or don't have the funds. So it could be a really good strategy. Ideally, you want to be controlling the assets, so you don't want to miss on the gains from capital appreciation and the ability to refinance. But these are the four main strategies. So buy to let, just a normal home holiday family let, service accommodation, which is basically you renting by the night, okay? Then HMOs, so that's house of multiple occupancies, and rent to rent, when you're renting a house, renting a property from someone, and then you're renting it either on a nightly rate as a service accommodation or by the room as an HMO. If that was any interesting to you, make sure to follow us. There are more content to come every week, you know, doing a video, trips that hopefully will help you. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them down in the comments. Thank you and see you soon.